You have been taught to look at what is before you, to trust the senses and believe in the reality you see. But this is where most go wrong. Your outer world is not the master of your destiny. The truth is this: your circumstances do not define you. They are only the reflection of your inner assumption. Yet, so many are distracted, caught in the web of appearances. You must learn to ignore the conditions around you, not in denial, but with unwavering faith in your creative power. When your reality says no, you say yes in your imagination. When circumstances shout failure, you quietly hold the image of success. Imagine a man who desires wealth, but his bank account shows emptiness. Many would surrender to the facts before them, but the wise man ignores the numbers. He assumes and feels the state of having the wealth already. This is not wishful thinking. It is a conscious act of creation. The outer is always behind the inner. To wait for evidence before believing is to place power outside yourself. You must live in the end. See yourself in the reality you desire, regardless of what your senses report. This is the secret. Hold your assumptions steady. Dismiss the evidence of the outer world as irrelevant to your inner knowing. Your reality bends to the shape of your persistent belief. Many fail because they believe what they see. They measure their progress by the shifting conditions outside. This is a grave mistake. Your senses are the servants of your imagination, not the other way around. The moment you surrender your assumption to what appears, you lose the power to create. I want you to understand something crucial. Your feelings are the language of your assumption. When you feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, the unseen begins to move in your favor. Do not waste time trying to change your circumstances first. That is backward. Change your inner state first, and watch how the outer world transforms naturally. If you are impatient and constantly checking the facts, you interrupt the flow of creation. You are feeding your current reality instead of the reality you want. Instead, hold to your assumption quietly and confidently. Like a seed planted in the dark soil, unseen but alive with potential. Trust in this invisible process. Even when the outer world contradicts your desire, your inner conviction will draw your reality toward it. What you see around you, your current circumstances and situations, do not create your reality. Instead, your reality is shaped by what you believe and imagine within your mind. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you focus on problems and doubts, those are like weeds that take root and grow strong. But when you focus on your desire, imagining it already fulfilled, you plant seeds that will blossom into your new reality. Many people, when faced with difficult circumstances, try to fight against what they see. They try to fix things with their actions, or they dwell on the problem. They believe that their effort to battle the situation will change it. But this resistance only gives power to the very things they want to change. When you fight your current reality, you are still focused on it, and your mind remains planted in what you do not want. This keeps you trapped in the same cycle. True power lies in ignoring the outside circumstances and firmly holding the feeling of your wish fulfilled inside your consciousness. This is where creation happens. Not by struggling against what is, but by imagining what is desired as already true. You must train yourself to turn away from the visible and turn toward the unseen. Your senses will report what is now, but you are not bound by what you see or hear. You create what you assume and persist in mentally. Imagine yourself as the master of your world, not a victim of it. When you begin to ignore the facts before your eyes and live in the conviction of your fulfilled desire, your inner world changes first. This inner change then manifests outside. It is law. The unseen shapes the seen. If you hold firmly to your assumption, no external circumstance can shake you. You become steady like a mountain, immovable and sure. Many give up because they allow their eyes to rule their mind. They see a lack, a problem, or delay, and believe it is true. But what you must remember is this: the present conditions are only a shadow, a temporary picture on the screen of your consciousness. The moment you give your attention to what is, to what you see, hear, or feel around you, you begin to feed it. You energize it. And even if you don't want it, if you hate it, fear it, or try to fix it, you're still affirming it as real. The world is yourself pushed out, meaning it's a reflection of what you've accepted as true, either consciously or unconsciously. So, if you truly desire change, you must begin with acceptance of your inner world as the only creative force. Not by reacting to what appears, but by deciding within what is. And then, refusing to accept anything that contradicts it. Let's say you've assumed that you are now financially secure. If tomorrow you receive a bill you weren't expecting, what do? Most people panic. They try to solve it with frantic action. They spiral mentally. But that reaction is a betrayal of the assumption. The assumption that you are financially secure would remain unmoved. You must remain unmoved. This isn't indifference. This is discipline. A willingness to claim your desire as fact and not budge. You are not ignoring the world out of delusion. You're ignoring it because you know it holds no creative power. The outer world is always playing catch-up. It reflects what you have accepted internally. But many people, when they begin to assume something new, whether it's love, success, health, or peace, they immediately look around to see if anything changed. And when nothing does, they abandon the assumption. This is where most give up. They treat their assumption like a test. They try it for a day, or even an hour, and then they watch their phone. They check the bank account, they stare at their partner, they refresh their inbox, and when nothing looks different, they say, "It's not working." But the truth is, it's always working. The question is, what are you truly assuming? If you're assuming it's not working, if you're assuming it takes time, or that circumstances have to shift first, that is what the world will reflect back. So dare to assume you are already what you want to be, and let no external evidence sway you. It is not your job to monitor the outer world. Your only task is to dwell in the inner state of fulfillment again and again until it becomes natural. Ignore the clock. Ignore the facts. Ignore the doubt that comes dressed as logic. Your only responsibility is to persist in the feeling that it is done. When you observe your world and see no sign of change, you must not be moved. The outer world is not the source of your fulfillment. Your inner world is. And until you stop letting facts dictate your faith, you will keep recreating what already exists. Do not argue with what is. Do not try to force it, fix it, or fight it. All of that is resistance. You are not here to wrestle with reality, you are here to create it. The mistake most people make is that they assume something in imagination, and then they open their eyes and check to see if it's there yet. They look around, waiting for confirmation. But the moment you go looking, you are no longer in the knowing, you are in doubt. And doubt delays. What you see right now is nothing but the echo of your past assumptions. It's the aftermath, not the cause. Your current experience is the shadow of an old belief. If you keep watching the shadow, asking if the change has come, you are turning away from the light that creates it. You are still looking to the mirror, hoping it moves first. Reality catches up, yes, but only when you stop waiting and start knowing. Your only job is to hold firm. Stay faithful to the assumption even when nothing confirms it, especially then, because that is the test. That is the secret. To live as if it were already so, and to never check the clock. You must be so certain of your assumption that the world can do nothing to convince you otherwise. This is the difference between the one who manifests and the one who delays. One remains loyal to the unseen, the other reacts to what is seen. Let others talk about facts. Let others argue for limitations. You were not sent here to repeat what already is. You came to declare what shall be. Your current circumstances are not the truth. They are simply reflections, echoes of what you once believed. And just as they appeared, they will disappear. The only question that matters is this: who are you being right now? Are you still looking? Still waiting? Or are you standing in the knowing that it is done? When you hold to your assumption, despite all evidence to the contrary, you bend reality. You become the cause. You command the mirror instead of waiting for it to change. Ignore the noise. Ignore the delay. Ignore the so-called facts. They have no power unless you give it to them. You are the operant power. So claim it. Own it. And persist until the world bows to your inner conviction. Your only true responsibility is to persist in the inner act of assuming that what you desire is already yours. Regardless of what the outer world shows you, no matter how persistent or convincing the facts seem, they hold no creative power of their own. They are simply the echoes of former assumptions. This is why reacting to circumstances is not only unnecessary, it is destructive. Each time you respond to what you see with fear, doubt, or frustration, you are feeding life back into the very condition you wish to transcend. What you see right now is not the truth of who you are, unless you declare it to be. It is a snapshot of your previous state of consciousness, not a prophecy of your future. Let's say you are manifesting financial freedom. You look at your bank account and see a negative balance. Your instinct might be to panic, to take frantic action, to dwell in despair. But if you understand that this moment is merely a reflection of old thoughts, then there is nothing to fear. Instead of reacting, you return within. You persist in the assumption, I am wealthy, I am secure, I have all that I need. You speak it in silence until it becomes your truth, regardless of what appears. This is the power of ignoring reality. You are not denying its existence. You are refusing to grant it power. You are shifting your allegiance from the world of appearances to the world of imagination. And in doing so, you become the master of your destiny. Not because you fought your circumstances, but because you ignored them. Because you assumed something greater and refused to let go. There is a delay, yes, but it is not punishment. It is simply the time it takes for reality to conform to your new assumption. The outer world always lags behind the inner world. What you are seeing now is not the result of what you just assumed. It is the result of what you previously believed. Most people, when they assume something new, begin to look around and wait. Has it changed yet? Is it happening? They check their phone, their bank account, the mirror, the messages, the news. And when nothing changes immediately, they grow impatient. They say it's not working. And in that moment, they abandon the assumption. They return to the old state. They let the illusion of delay convince them that the unseen is not real. But all delay means is that the world has not yet caught up to you. You must hold firm. No matter how loud the facts may scream, you must remain loyal to your vision. This is not blind hope. This is creative law. To assume is to sow, and to persist is to water the seed. Do not dig up the soil to check for roots. Do not pull on the stem to see if it is growing. You do not wait for proof. You live as though it is done. That is what it means to ignore reality. You are not distracted by appearances. You are not moved by what seems to be. You remain faithful to your inner world because you know it is the only true cause. You may ask, how can I ignore something that feels so real? The bills are real. The absence is real. The silence is real. But I say to you, the only reason it feels real is because it was once assumed. And what was assumed long enough hardened into fact. So now, if you wish to experience something new, something different, you must turn entirely away from that hardened shadow. Do not speak to it. Do not reason with it. Do not try to fight it or fix it. That is how people delay the manifestation of their desire, by giving all their energy to rearranging the outer world instead of changing the inner one. If your assumption is that you are now wealthy, and yet your reality shows you the opposite, the greatest mistake is to say, let me hustle harder to make it true. No, you are not hustling to become. You are assuming you already are. And from that state, all action flows naturally. The illusion says, do more to fix this. But the truth says, be still and know. It is not a call to inaction, but a call to inspired movement, action that arises from the state of already having. Ignore what seems urgent. Ignore what appears final. Hold fast to your inner knowing. Let the facts rearrange themselves around your conviction. This is the discipline, and this is your power. You have learned that the outer world is a mirror, reflecting your inner state. But too often people become prisoners of the mirror, staring at their reflections and believing it to be the truth. This is a grave mistake. You must remember your reality is not the master, but the servant of your assumption. It bends and shifts according to the law of consciousness. It cannot help but obey what you deeply imagine and persist in feeling. Therefore, do not look to your senses to validate your desires. Do not wait for the world to change before you change your feeling. Change your feeling first. Hold your assumption firmly. Refuse to be moved by the evidence of the senses. The world will catch up in its own time. Reality is patient, but it is sure. Your persistent assumption, carried in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, will carve your desires into manifestation. Never forget, the seed of all things lies in your consciousness. Nothing happens outside before it happens inside. The state you occupy, the feeling you cultivate, is the invisible force moving mountains. Ignore the circumstances that seem to say, "Not yet." Do not be deceived by the evidence of delay. It is only a reflection of your past assumption, not the end of your story. Keep assuming. Hold the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. In this steadfast assumption, you align with the creative power of the universe. You do not chase. You do not seek. You simply live in the end, knowing it is done. This is the greatest secret. This is the power you have been given. Use it wisely, and your life will reflect the joy, abundance, and peace you have always imagined.